Hi boys and girls, welcome to story time today. I have a book that I want to share with you that is all about an animal that lives in Canada and here in the United States of America. It is called a Canadian goose. And a Canadian goose is known mostly for its long curvy neck and its webbed feet that helps it swim through the water. And it's honk, honk, honk. I've got a little goose here that I would like to show you. It is a goose stuffed animal, but I want you to listen closely and see if you can hear its honk. So you guys might remember that when we go out to the playground, a lot of times we'll see a whole group of geese out there at one time. And when we get a group of geese together, they are called a gaggle. And remember, boys and girls, I always tell you it's not a good idea to go up and chase the geese because they like to hiss and they like to honk, honk, honk. And they may chase after you, especially if they have babies with them, because they are very protective of their babies, just like your mommy and daddy are very protective of you and like to keep you safe. So I'm going to read you a story called Honk, Honk, Goose. And it is all about a mommy and a daddy goose who start a family. They have lots of little babies, and you will see how Daddy Goose likes to really protect his babies and keep them safe, just like your daddy. Okay. All right, so here is our title page, Honk, Honk, Goose. Okay. Honk, he honk. In a chilly mid-March, a male goose called and chased. He chased squirrels, honk, ducks, honk, geese, honk, he honk, honk. He chased away all except Mama Goose. He and she spent all their time together. Dabble dip, they paddled in the pond. Pluck pull, they fed on plants. Stretch curve, their necks danced. Splash splash, they took baths together. But one day, inside Mama Goose, eggs began to form. It was time to make a nest. Honk, he honk. Daddy Goose chased away a muskrat. Honk, he snapped at a turtle. Honk, he honk. He rushed at an opossum. He was already protecting Mama Goose. Mama Goose stacked sticks and grasses. She plucked soft feathers from her breast and used them to line her nest. Then she started laying eggs, one each day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One after another. On the 5th day, when the geese were feeding, a raccoon rolled an egg out of the nest. Honk, he honk, hiss, Daddy Goose called. Flap, flap, he lunged. The raccoon ran, but one egg was already broken. The next day, Mommy laid another. And then the next day she laid the last. All the eggs were laid, so she sat on them to keep them warm. Now and then she stood and turned the eggs. Daddy Goose floated nearby. Honk! He honked at the kingfisher. Honk! He honked at a skunk. Honk! He honked. He chased off a heron. Each morning and evening, Mom the Goose took breaks to take a bath and to eat. Under their goose down blanket, the eggs stayed warm until she returned. For 28 days Mama Goose sat on the eggs. Then she finally heard a sound. Boys and girls, what do you think that was? Crick, crick, peep! The chicks were hatching. First one, then two. At once, and then suddenly 3. 6 wet chicks dried in the sun. Oh, you can see them all in the nest. Daddy Goose stood guard. Honk! He honked at the squirrels. Honk at the ducks. Honk! He honked at neighboring geese. The day after the chicks hatched, Daddy and Mommy took a stroll. 12 wobbly goose legs followed along. The parents slid into the water and the chicks followed. Plop, 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 plop. Dabble dip, they paddled. Pluck, pull, they fed on plants. Mama Goose walked up the muddy bank and stretched down to settle down to rest. Scratch, slip, slip, the tired chicks climbed. Peep, 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 they scrambled for places under her wings. Peep, yawn, peep, yawn, eyelids drooped. Soon the chicks were asleep. Every goose slept, except for Father Goose, who stood guard. You can see him down here in the corner of our book, right down here. He stood guard, he stayed alert, ready to chase away danger, protecting his babies and Mama Goose. Honk, he honk, hiss. Oh, that Daddy Goose, always protecting Mama Goose and the babies. Boys and girls, it's funny that geese are not always hissing and honking. If you went to a farm and saw a goose or a gaggle of geese that were raised on a farm, they're actually very, very social animals, and they will get along with the cows and the pigs and the chickens and the other animals on a farm. But always be careful when you're approaching a goose, because if they are protecting their babies, you will hear lots of honks and lots of hisses. Well, that's story time today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.